feel it before you see it. The cold breath of twilight brushes your face as the sun lowers behind the jagged hills. The sky bleeds from amber to deep indigo, and the scent of pine smoke clings to your cloak. The Longhouse is close now. You know this path even with your eyes closed, the crunch of frost underfoot, the distant murmur of livestock being herded in, the last clang of a blacksmith's hammer echoing through the valley. You are home. But the day is not quite done. In your world, night does not fall like a curtain. It arrives like a visitor, slowly. You are not merely a man ending a long day. And before sleep you are comes, a warrior in the hour between battles. The son of the north, in this hour, belongs to something ancient. You pull open the creaking wooden door. Heat hits your cheeks. The Longhouse glows with firelight. The air smells of pine resin, cooked meat, and the sweet bitterness of herbs drying in the rafters. You nod to your kin, exchanging silent greetings. Talking is unnecessary now. Everything is winding down. You remove your belt, your seeks, your fur cloak, each piece laid aside with care, not discarded. The shedding of weapons is not weakness here. It is reverence. You survived another day. That is not something to overlook. Your father taught you this when you were young. Never go to sleep in the same skin you wore into the world. Strip the battle off your bones. You walk to the basin near the fire. A bowl of warm water waits infused with ash and juniper. You dip your hands, then splash your face. The water's not meant to clean, not really. It is meant to reset. Tell your blood the fight is over. For now, in the corner, an elder hums a tune. Not for you, not for anyone, just for the walls, for the spirits who may be listening. You do not interrupt. You sit beside the hearth, pressing your palms to the warmth. You breathe in deeply. This is the beginning. The ritual starts with silence, and slowly your heartbeat begins to match the rhythm of the house. Asterisk, you have never needed a clock to know when sleep is near. Your body, trained by years of snow and silence, knows the rhythm better than any bell or horn. It's in the way your limbs feel. Not tired, but slower. It's in the way your thoughts begin to soften around the edges, like snow melting into the grain of old wood. And so you begin. Tonight, like every night before battle, you prepare your mind. You stand slowly, your knees crackling slightly as you move toward the herb shelf below, carved table tucked beneath bundles of dried roots and leaves that sway. Gently, when the fire breathes, your wife, earlier, had left something for you. A pouch of crushed valerian, twisted closed with flax cord. You lift it to your nose, earthy, sharp, grounding. There is no need to measure, instinctively. How much is enough? Beside the fire, a small kettle of water steams softly. You pour a ladle's worth into your wooden cup, drop the herbs in, and let them steep. You sit again. You do not rush. This moment is not about drinking. It is about remembering. You remember your father doing this very thing on the eve of his last raid. You remember how his hand shook, not from fear, but from the weight of knowing what he might not return to. And you remember how, after drinking, he lay down with his eyes open, staring at the rafters, spearing the names of his children under his breath like a spell. You do the same now, not aloud, but inward. You name those you fight for. Those you protect, the ones who will wake without you if fate turns its face away. And with each name you feel your breath deepen, your chest settle, not because the danger fades, but because you've named it. You've given it a place, outside your body, inside your mind. You lift the cup. The tea is bitter, but it calms the root of you. Your thoughts begin to line up like warriors forming ranks, no longer charging in every direction. You've trained them just as you trained your hands and shoulders. This too is part of being a warrior. Must know how to let go. Across the Longhouse, someone is speaking softly, telling a story, perhaps. It floats through the air like smoke, curling around beams and bundles. You don't listen to the words, only the rhythm. It reminds you that you are not alone. That even in silence, even in solitude, you are part of something larger. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and in the darkness behind them, you see the gods, not clearly, just suggestions. A great shadow with one eye, a woman with a cloak of feathers. It's a great wolf pacing behind the hills of your mind. They do not speak, but they are watching. They always watch. When warriors prepare to sleep, you place your cup down. The warmth still lingers in your hands. You do not say prayers, not like southern monks do. But you offer something, a thought, a wordless pulse of gratitude, of request. Don't need to name it. The gods don't require speech. Yeah. What is in the bones? Your eyes open again. The fire has lowered. The shadows have lengthened. You are ready. You have uncoiled your thoughts. You have honored your bloodline. You have swallowed the earth, and it has settled you. The body is tired. Duh, but the mind is calm. And this is the beginning of true rest. Sleep doesn't come to a warrior without being invited before you lie down. Before your body can give itself over to the night, there's still one more rite, one that isn't spoken about often, but is practiced by every man who has seen blood. You rise again slowly, and reach for the blade hanging beside the firewood, not the one you wear at your hip, nor the axe that waits by the door. This is your night blade, smaller, older, its edge no longer sharp enough to cut flesh cleanly, but perfect for what it must do. Carry memory. You hold it in your hands now. The handle is smooth from generations of use. The hilt has been wrapped and rewrapped so many times that the leather feels like bark. Your grandfather carved a rune into the pommel. You were too young to know what it meant back then, only that he said it would hold your dreams in place. Now, still don't understand it fully, but you trust it. You press your thumb to the edge. Not enough to draw blood, just enough to remind you of its weight. This isn't about violence. It's about remembering who you are without it. You sit cross-legged beside your sleeping space. The furs have been turned down. The firelight flickers in the metal. You begin the ritual you've always done alone. You recount your day to the blade, not aloud. Not for anyone else to hear. This is between you and the steel. You speak silently of what you've done. You picture each task, the things you built, the words you said. The way you looked at your brother when he made that joke about your shoulders still sore from last moon's raid. You remember how your son clung to your leg before running outside to chase hens? You offered these things to the blade, and in return, the blade gives you stillness, because now the memories have a place to rest that isn't your skull. The blade carries them through the night. You think of it as your other self, the one that stands watch while you sleep. The part of you that doesn't close its eyes even when your body does. You lay it gently beside your bedroll, always hilt toward your chest, never the other way. It's not just a superstition. It's a promise. I will rest, but I am not defenseless. Across the Longhouse, someone coughs. The animals shuffle in their pens. You hear the low rumble of someone's breath, slipping into sleep. And yet you wait. There is still one thing more. Close your eyes and picture the faces of the men who did not come home. You don't let yourself cry, but you let the grief rise just enough to taste, just enough to acknowledge. Because if you do not give the dead their moment, they might follow you into your dreams. Your hand rests lightly on the hilt. You whisper their names, only one or two, not all, only the ones whose laughter you still remember. There is no fear in you now. Only wait. The comfort of having laid it down. This too is a ritual. You do not sleep to forget. You sleep to remember in peace. You roll into your blankets. Your feet touch the rough straw. The blade beside you breathes silently in the dark. And, with your final breath before surrender, you think, let me wake as myself. And if not, let me dream like a warrior. Now comes the hour when no one speaks. Not because it is forbidden, but because the Longhouse itself demands silence. The way a sacred place asks for stillness. The way snow hushes a forest. You've settled into your place beside the others. Shoulder to shoulder on the long wooden platform that runs the length of the room. Your back touches the wall, turf and timber, thick with insulation and stories. The same wall your mother once leaned against as she nursed you. The same wall your grandfather rested his head against the night before his final breath. The fire is low now. A quiet ember glow pulsing in the hearth like a living memory. Across the ceiling beams painting your world in slow shadows, you recognize every creak, every shift of wood, every gentle exhale from the sleeping forms beside you. The silence is not empty. It is full of meaning, of presence, of warmth. You pull the fur up to your chest, heavy, familiar, smells of smoke and sweat and something softer like moss after rain. Your head finds its usual place on the folded cloth, and already your body begins to sink. But your mind, it lingers. Not racing, not anxious, just watching. You listen to the breathing around you, each person with their own rhythm. Now, some soft, some wheezy, some still shallow, caught between waking and dreaming. It's like the Longhouse is singing a wordless lullaby. Its verses made of breath and warmth. You are not alone here. You are never alone here. To modern ears, this might sound suffocating, but to you it is safety. You know the shape of your brother's cough, the sound of your cousin shifting on the straw. You know who dreams loudly, who talks in their sleep, who kicks in the night. These sounds are not distractions, they are anchors. Proof that you belong, that you are part of something woven tightly like the wool. Blankets that cover you now, the baby to your left whimpers softly. Her mother doesn't even open her eyes. She rolls over instinctively, placing a hand on the child's belly. The whimper fades. The house breathes again. You let your eyes fall half shut. This is the moment when your body begins to float. Not upwards, inwards, deeper into the self that only shows itself when the world has gone quiet. You do not fear the dark. The dark has never harmed you. The dark is only dangerous to those who walk alone, and you always sleep among kin at the far end of the Longhouse. The goats are shifting. You can hear their hooves tapping the dirt, their breath warm and moist in the air. One sneezes. Tss. Smile. The animals sleep near you, not by accident, but by intention. Their warmth, their steady presence is part of the night's ritual. They are more than livestock. They're watchers. They know when danger approaches long before men do. You pull the fur tighter. Your toes curl slightly as you adjust your posture first onto your side. Then into that perfect position your body always seeks when it knows sleep is near. Your muscles release, your shoulders stop bracing, your stomach settles. There is no bed frame, no mattress, only straw, wool, fur, and centuries of memory, and still it is enough. More than enough, your body begins to drift, but still, one last thought surfaces, not a worry, not a fear. Question, what if this night were your last, not because of battle, not because of sickness, just ... because would you have done anything differently? Would you have said anything more? You open your eyes again briefly to the dim red glow of the hearth. You feel the slow, peaceful breath of your people around you. You hear the sigh of the night pressing gently against the turf walls, and you think, well, not because your life is perfect, but because tonight, here in this silence, you are whole. Your hand, out of habit, reaches down to the hilt of the blade. Beside you it is warm from the fire. It is where it always is. That, too, is comfort. You do not count sheep. You do not fear sleep. You surrender not in weakness, but in trust. The darkness welcomes you not like a cave, but like a womb. You close your eyes again, and now the breath deepens, the mind slows. The hour of silence has done its work. You are ready. Asterisk, they never told you that sleep was just sleep, not in this house, not in your blood. From your earliest nights wrapped in fur and firelight, you were taught that to fall asleep is to cross a threshold. Not one of wood or stone, but of spirit. You don't dream the way modern people do, out in flashes of scattered memory or nonsense. Your dreams come like visitors, sometimes like ghosts, out sometimes like gods, always with meaning. And so, before you surrender fully to sleep, you prepare, not just the body, the spirit. You lie still now, barely breathing, heart quiet, muscles soft. But your mind turns slightly outward, as if you are opening a door no one else can see. You whisper inside yourself, if you come, let it be with peace. If you speak, let me hear. It's not a prayer, not really. You've never needed priest for such things. It's an invitation, because in your world, dreams are not random. They are messages, echoes, warnings, and sometimes blessings. Your grandfather once dreamed of a raven circling the sun. The next morning he sent your uncle south, just before the sickness took the village. He always said that dream saved a life. Your sister dreamed of her first child before she even knew she was carrying, down to the birthmark behind his ear. You've had your own dreams too. Some you speak of, you bury in the space between your ribs. Tonight you don't ask for visions, you only ask for peace. Still, you know the spirits might come, the old ones, the women whose names were buried with the first snows, the warriors who never returned, but whose shields still hang on the outer wall. Sometimes you see the mountains in your dreams, not as they are, but as they were, now glowing gold and violet beneath twin moons that have never risen in waking life. Sometimes you dream of sailing, but not on water. Through skies, through stars, through places your feet have never touched. These are not hallucinations. These are the truths beneath the truth. And when you wake, if you remember them, you carry them gently like coals, not to burn, but to light. The way you exhale slowly, the weight of your body deepens. The fire is nothing now but breath beneath ash. Somewhere, someone mutters in sleep, a name maybe, a word from a world not here. And just as your mind begins to blur into softness, you see it, not with your eyes, with something older, a flicker of a shape, a woman in white standing in the trees, a stag with eyes like suns, a shoreline made of bones, and seaweed glistening with starlight. You do not fear these visions, you welcome them, because to your people, a dream is a bridge. It connects you not only to the gods, but to yourself, to the you that exists outside time, to the you who remembers what you're waking. Self forgets, and so you cross it softly without words. The body breathes, the house sighs, the night stretches its limbs. You are not gone, you are simply less risk. You don't wake with a start, you rise the way dawn rises over the fjords, slow, golden, silent. The fire is nearly gone now. Only a faint shimmer under the ash, like the heartbeat of the house still pulsing in its sleep. Yet there is warmth here in the air, in the wool, in your chest. Your eyes flutter open, but they do not seek the light. There is none yet. Just shadows, just outlines, just the comforting blur of bodies curled beside you, unmoved. Dreaming still, you do not move. Not yet, because this moment is just as sacred as the ones before. The transition, the return from wherever you went in your sleep, to the land of visions, to the sea of forgotten ancestors, to the forest of impossible beasts. You are home again now, but you carry something back with you, a feeling, a scent, a name whispered in dream, a new softness in your breath. Not all warriors wake with weapons, some wake with clarity. You stretch your legs beneath the fur, you shift your shoulder against the straw. The rustling is gentle, barely enough to wake the child beside you, though she stirs anyway, as if she too knows the sun is coming. The house begins to hum again, not with voices, but with presence, a low, ancient vibration, wood creaking, a goat grunting, a blanket shifting, a foot scratching straw. No one speaks, but everyone is waking. You hear your husband's breath shift behind you, a deeper inhale, a longer exhale. Hannah finds your arm, not to hold, just to connect. The shared rhythm of a house returning from the night. You rise slowly, careful not to disturb the others. The cold floor kisses your soles like an old friend. You wrap your wool cloak around your shoulders, still carrying the scent of smoke and dreams. You move toward the hearth. Your sister is already there. She tends the fire the way your mother once did. Fingers that know ash and ember like prayer beads. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't need to. You share this moment, this ancient silence before words are invited back. She adds a log. The flame catches. You feel the heat kiss your face. The new day has not truly begun, but something in you has already turned toward it. There is no breakfast yet, no duties spoken aloud. But you know what waits? The tending of goats, the mending of boots, the checking of traps, the sharpening of blades. Still, there is time. You crouch near the fire and warm your hands. You close your eyes just for a second, not to sleep again, but to thank the night because it gave you something you do not know what. But you feel lighter, anchored, whole. That is what the old ones always said. Sleep returns what the day takes. And now with morning near, you are ready to give again. You glance toward the others. Your father is stirring. Now the old man. The end of the hall stretches his legs, groaning softly, the sound of joints remembering youth. The baby murmurs in her mother's arms, her little mouth searching for warmth. Everything here is familiar, but everything is new, because this is not just another morning. This is after sleep, and sleep, in your world, is never a pause. It is a passage. You stand, your spine is straight. The day will bring its tests, weather, wounds, perhaps even war. But you are ready because you are whole. Because you are held, because last night Beneath the roof of your ancestors, with the snow pressing gently on the walls, you've returned to the ancient rhythm of stillness, of breath, of being more than just a body moving through time. You became a vessel. You were emptied, and now you are full again, and as the first pale light of the sun touches the edge of the Longhouse beams, you smile. You are not afraid. You are not alone. You are Viking, and you are awake.